Welcome to another episode of Salvage 1 Bus Life Adventures. So in this episode, we cover doing air filter change on the bus. Apparently, the previous owner or owners never got around to it. Hadn't been done in at least a decade, as far as we can tell, if not longer. And it was pretty bad. It needed it. And it was quite the chore. And I would have had a camera under there, but it was just me on the day where I was doing this. And there was no way to get a camera up in there. You wouldn't have seen anything. So it would have just been me, my legs sticking out from underneath the bus, yelling and screaming. And no context, no way to see what I was yelling or screaming about, because my arms barely fit up where we had to go, much less getting a camera up in there. So unfortunately, this doesn't have footage of me under the bus pulling the canisters out and doing all the crazy stuff, but I explain it in there, and hopefully you'll get the idea of just how brutal this was. And enjoy the show. Comment below, all that fun stuff. Alright, so here we are with the saga of the air filter. Again, if you've been keeping track here, and I'm not sure where in the video series this is all going to fall, how it will be edited in, but we were working on the bus and we realized that we needed to change the air filter housing out. So it was just a chore, just trying to figure out what the air filter went in, where it was, because it's not in a normal spot. So it took a while to just find that, and then realize that this big honking canister here, 20-something inch long canister here, that is your air filter, and it's inside this non-replaceable housing. So the whole thing has to be taken out and switched out. You can't take it apart. You can't change out the paper element inside. It's all one unit. It's crazy. So for those of you with a 1997-1998 Thomas bus front engine with a 3126 first gen Caterpillar motor and a turbo, this puppy is it's underneath the bus, on the passenger hand side of the bus, in front of the engine, right behind the bumper and the flat front nose. So you crawl under the bus, stick your head under there, and you'll see this bottom hanging down. There'll be a big rubber nub in here hanging down, and you'll see that. That is your canister. And you got to be a human contortionist to get that thing out of there. Especially this top clamp. This top clamp that held that on is crazy. So anyways, finally got that out, and then began the quest of trying to find a replacement, because Eco, I guess that's Raycor / Baldwin, Raycor doesn't have this filter anymore. They don't carry this exact one. They may have something that's similar, but if you got the turbo, you got to make sure that this housing here is in this exact spot, or else the clamps won't work, the housing, the turbo inlet won't fit on there, and you can't move the turbo inlet around inside. It has to be in that spot. So you need to get this thing that's like 18 and a quarter inches long, or 19 and a quarter inches long. It's crazy. I'll put in the video the measurements for it. But having said all that, we did find a replacement finally. Not an exact one. Let's see. This is the part number 546898 Dimensionally, it is the same. There is a couple little differences. So let's show you that right now. Insert bleeder valve and filter prior to installation. Don't know about any bleeder. Oh, they're talking about that little thing down there in the bottom. All right, well, anyways, you got to pull this bad boy out of the box. So now you got this guy. And they got the same sticker on it. Slight differences. Slightly different part number. Right there. They're Eco Series. But it is, measurement, dimensionally wise, it is the same filter. Even has the same dimensional tops. This part, let's see if we can get this. This guy right here is a filter, goes on the top of the filter. Here. Sits inside these little grooves right here. That goes here. And it all got chopped up. Whoever installed this last was a butcher. They were just doing everything they could just to get it in there and call it a day. So, I don't know if it's going to fit properly. There's going to be an opening, and I don't know where it's supposed to be opening in the box. Whether this is going to point towards the back of the bus, which means this part faces the front of the bus, and I'm assuming this is going to sit with the opening here to allow fresh air to come in and go down, and then this is a gasket that prevents the air from circling around and escaping. And that's going to be fun trying to keep that on there while you push the canister up from underneath the bus into that hollow that it occupies under there, which is absolutely crazy. But we're going to do our best. $310 after taxes and everything for this unit. I found a place that sold them for $164, but when you go to order it, they're out of stock. So, ended up having to pay $310 to the next guy in line who had it, which was Napa Auto Parts. They did have it. And what I'm going to do with this guy is going to find out if that pleat filter can be cleaned, like washed or bathed. If it cannot be, I'm going to see about chiseling off this bottom piece and then rig it up so that it can be attached back on with little clamps or little screws or something. And then anytime I need to change the filters from now on, I mean, this thing should last about, I don't know, 5 years, depending on how much dust I drive through. And after that's all said and done, it'll probably need to be changed again. But I want to take this so I can make this bottom piece come off, and then I'll find the paper filter, which you can find everywhere. You can get that paper element. Everybody sells it $40 and $50, but you can't get it. You can't get this housing to come apart. This housing is a stuck together unit, so why would they sell the paper element if you can't take the stupid thing apart? Well, I'm going to end up taking it apart, rig it so that you can put it back on. Then the next time this all needs to get changed, instead of going through that hell of pulling that thing down out of there and I'm trying to get all those clamps off and everything else, I'm just going to go underneath, be able to pop this bottom piece out, drop the old filter out, put in a new filter, and then put that piece back on and bolt it back up. And you'll be done in 10 minutes, which is the plan. Not the 2.5 hours it took to pull that stupid thing out of there. Then the day or two it took to find a replacement. And now I'm back here again. And I can't even put it in here today because there's such a high... We got haboob conditions, so there's going to be... I've gone through 2 dust storms to get here. Right now, I don't know if you can hear the wind blowing outside, but it's pretty brutal. I spent... there's a pile of boxes over there from my stuff and the stuff from the 2 compounds here. And they put it all there and they use it for burning, for fires and things. And literally, I spent a half hour when I got here chasing boxes around, trying to put them all back in the piles because the wind's blowing it everywhere.